Alright, so I take these apart all the time, and I 3D print a cooler case for them, and then create various versions of them. And then my friends are like, look, you got a YouTube channel, why not? So this one has this knob on top, and it's the on-off button. So this is that button right there. And then the panels in the front, I've shown this before. So I've made a Black Sports Edition, and so I have to disassemble this. This has like a magnetic side, and then so what I'm going to do is take the motherboard that's on the opposite side of this plastic. This button up here is just I have to pry off this, but I have to remove some plastic first, and then we're going to put it into the case here, the bottom of this. It's got screw holes, and I'm actually going to use the screws to go in here because the plastic, which is perfect, you can see this is got a point, a tip on the end that comes to a point, which means when I go to screw it into these pogos, it's holding up the motherboard, and there's room here for the fan that's on the bottom, so the fan goes downwards. Then those screw holes, these screws will easily go in and hold the motherboard on, because that's exactly the same size pogos and stuff that's under here holding this motherboard in as it is. So I'm going to pause this video. I don't want to bore you with taking it apart, and then when I get the motherboard I'll do some more commentary. Now the more important thing is when you do get all the screws out and stuff, this piece of plastic that's inserted here has to lean out, but your hard drive is got to come out because it's between the plastic and where it connects in, and so it's very important that you remove that. I don't know if you can see, but there's a piece of plastic here between the circuit board underneath and this, so I'm going to also take out this screw just to be sure. It looks like, since it has sort of like a washer on the top of the screw, that it will probably obstruct it coming out of there properly. So I just have to triple check my screws, and then we'll go from there. Alright, to continue on here, I take a really thin flathead screwdriver and get in this top corner or in the corner here, so that this sort of peels out here. You have to be careful. I did go ahead and take out the RAM because I didn't want to break anything. So I'm just going to wiggle this, so that is the next piece to come out. And then there are going to be some screws holding this in. I have to disconnect. If you look, this literally, I just had to put like a flathead screw, just pull gently on it and get to come off there. It's a little tight. This is already, I don't know if you can see, but this is loose because it's just put in there. This piece of plastic technically holds it in there with screws, but the motherboard's now loose, and then all I gotta do is disconnect this thing up here first from the motherboard so that I can pull it out gently. Alright, so now that I unplugged these are just LEDs hanging, these little white wires that hang on different parts, and it actually says LED on the motherboard. So unhooked. There's ones on the opposite side, LED stuff, and then there's one here that is LEDs, the circle that's inside here. And I'm going to put that one back in on, the rest I'm going to leave off. But the thing is, if you see, there's two wires holding on to this. That's the Wi-Fi antennas, and they're on the opposite side. So I have to unscrew this back panel back here, but I have to just unscrew it from the inside to get this back panel off, and then I can undo these little wires that are stickered on the back side and then be able to kind of pull that out. Alright, so I've got all kinds of pieces here. So you can see there's, I'm trying to get it. The Wi-Fi has this strip that goes across, and I have to just unsticker those and then pull them through a little tiny hole. Alright, so I got this back piece off because those adhesives were on there. However, I don't know if you can see, but they're through that hole, which means I'm going to have to take off that little adhesion and then unhook them from the Wi-Fi card, pull them through there, and then rehook them back up. So it's all good. Alright, so I've got those disconnected from there and then pulled them through. So now we're kind of free of, there's the fan that goes on the bottom where it has ventilation. So, and we'll continue on showing you how it's all going to go together. Alright, as you can see here, I got this, and this is the front. And so we're going to flip this around. Alright, so I've got to where these pogos line up exactly where the holes were. That there are 4. Those 4 holes line up with those 4 pogos exactly. And then it's high enough so that this fan is not obstructing, and then it can get air underneath. And I usually put some very fat feet on the corners of these to hold it up a little further, so that somebody decides to buy this off me, then they won't suffocate it. So yeah, so I'm going to put 4 screws in there because I don't need to access the bottom for anything. I don't need to access this side for anything. I'm going to put the 4 screws in. Then I can re-put the Wi-Fi on, put the RAM in, put the hard drive on, and then we'll be ready, you know, for the top part, which snaps on. You don't even have to put screws to hold the top on. Alright, we'll get that together. Alright, so I'm back to this thing. There are 2 screws here, so we have to get the button out of here. This is the on-off button. That's one. Alright, so what this is really loosening, I think, is the, I don't know, it's not the button itself, but we will get, I can't remember exactly. The thing I loosened was the LED, which is like right here. So if I push in on this wire, it should release it. There. And then we got to figure out, I can't remember, it's something simple. Oh, I remember what it is. There's these tabs. There we go. There's these tabs right here. It takes off this top part. I'm not trying to break it, but also not necessary. There we go. So this illuminated, there's a LED in the top that made this light up. So here we go. Now we're getting closer. So remember how this comes out? I think there's something simple holding it. Oh, I know what it is. This nut. This nut, I have to unscrew this nut. So I gotta get something that goes right here. Unscrew that, and then it'll just fall out. Alright, so I'm unscrewing this. There's a nut and a washer. I dropped both of them. And I'll put it in the box of this. And then, as you can see, this comes right out. Oh, as soon as I figure that. Oh, let go. There we go. So now I got my plug. And I got over here, I designed this to where the plug goes right there. And then it'll come right out the hole. And then we'll just like, oh, it's like this has a little, most of a circle with a flat surface. I made a button, just like on this one, it does the same thing. It just pushes down on there, turns if you need it to, on and off for the power, which is really what I need it for. Plugs in right there, nothing obstructing the case from closing up. Alright, so I have 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, and then I've got the button here. And so I've designed this to fit the little pogos under there so it fits nice and pretty good. So what I want to go down to is put just glue on this middle piece, and glue on this middle piece, not on the prongs, you don't need them there, but just to put on the base of this. And then when this dries and then the top goes on, the top snaps over and it won't come out anymore. It's going to go over this, and then that'll snap on and hold it even if you were to move it around a bit. But the glue is to help it hold in position so that you can continue moving around, plug it in, and then it's also ready to go down perfectly underneath. So alright, so got that in there, the button's ready. What I do with these 2 wires, I'm just going to tuck them, this first one around, and just right inside there. That's not exactly, but, and then this one will be fine, just right around there somewhere. So what I'll do is I'll leave those. Anyway, here's the power plug is plugged in here, and then this is the LED circle. I'm just going to leave that wrapped around there. Here is the button that will go on there. I'm going to put some, let's see, I want to put these things. Alright, so I got these little strips of adhesive that was holding down the Wi-Fi cables. I'm going to keep this handy just in case I need to use them for something, or if I need to redirect this over here, which is fine, I think where it is. That'll get plenty of good signal. In the meantime, I have to put in the RAM. This is DDR4. There we go. Oh, shit. Let's see, I'll get this one in there. There we go. Okay. Hard drive goes in this slot. That should keep it from a little cooler. Now think about it, I can't remember if it was in this slot or if it was over top of that. Was it over top of that? Does it matter? Yeah. I guess I'll have to turn it on to make sure it's booting from this slot the same as, I think it was over top though. I think it was on top of this one. That's what I get for not paying attention that much, but otherwise it's coming together. Shortly we'll be snapping this on, and then we'll put the button on, and we'll detail that up a little bit, and I have, well, I'll show that to you in a little bit. Alright, thanks. Alright, so on this part I got male or north-south magnets. And you just quickly stick that in there. Boom. Nothing too thick, but it will not fall out. So those are good to go, and those are plenty far enough from the motherboard to make any effect. So my next thing is I have paint pens, and I'm going to paint the swirl here in orange. But I am going to go grab some painter's tape first. We're going to mark off some things here. Alright, so if any of you have used a paint pen before, I'm sure you can know that it splatters. So, well, now it's not even writing. So I had it right. So I'm trying to get it like to start oozing. Anyway, it'll, like, if I flip it by accident or something, it'll start I know some of you are going to say, well, let's get a 3D printer that has multicolor. Well, that's great and all, but, you know, they do cost more. So, and this usually doesn't take me that long if I don't have any issues. I wanted to get some right there. Okay. This pen is not working correctly today. Usually it's pretty good. I think I just might need to get a new one. It's on the edges. It's just not done. Usually it goes all the way down the tip, but it's just not getting down there. So anyway, I'm going to fart with this little thing a little bit, and then we'll see how it turns out. You can see that turned out pretty good. Now I have to take a gray and do all the letters of the word Dreamcast. And then last, since this is the Sports Edition, I got that 3D printed. Look how cool that's going to look. Then we'll have a super Ryzen 7 system that looks pretty cool. Alright, here's our finished product. And hit the button. Should we see a little bit of glowing down in there? Alright, this is a Windows build, Windows 11 and Emulation Station. When I took the image from another computer and then put it on this one, it didn't keep the auto login, auto start, but I can fix that. So we're just going to click on ESDE for the EmulationStation Desktop Edition, and then we'll just ignore that for now. And then here we are. Got I got some test games in there for a couple of items, but really it's mostly a bezels specifically. And I have this perfect black and orange Xbox 360 controller to go with it. Thanks. Alright, so now I have the auto startup and startup, so we're going to reboot. And we're going to see if it should auto log in and then auto start up the EmulationStation Desktop. And then for the most part we pretty much set up the way we like. This is a Ryzen 7. 16 gigs of DDR4, and yeah, there's the auto login. Here's the Sonic themed Windows 11 desktop, and then there's the system. We'll just hit A button on that, cancel. That's it, thanks.